Charles the Great, the God. Charlemagne was a psychopath.
Dang.
There was one little episode where he went down to where the Basques still live, and they still had the old habit of cremating their dead.
Mm-hmm.
Rocky place ain't very much area to bury somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he went down and he slaughtered 125,000 of them because they cremated their dead. He did stuff like that. He slaughtered people, killed out whole regions, exterminated everybody because they didn't switch over to his particular brand of religion.
Mm-hmm.
Ethnic cleansing on a super scale back in the Dark Ages, the 10th century, in the 900s. So that's who he's calling himself by, Charlemagne the God. Now, like, why would a black man name himself after a German psychopath? You got it? That's like saying, I'm Adolf the Great.
No, they wouldn't let you say that.
Yeah, but Charlemagne was worse.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, you had 500 years to it, and somebody's war criminal crimes against humanity type becomes worthy of note because he exercised power.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right about the attack on masculinity, because I said something about DJ Envy. They had a thing online going around where Bill Gates allegedly cheated and had a side mistress, and DJ Envy allegedly cheated. And Bill Gates was able to keep his stuff quiet and move on like a man. And DJ Envy had to go in front of the world and a bunch of women and apologize to all the women in the world, you know, when now it should have been personal with his wife. So I told him he need to be on a leash and be drug around with his wife. Because to me, that's not a man.
That's a good suggestion. How
Yeah,
about Wade, one of your former colleagues, Wade, talking about his wife wears the pants in the family?
I just
in
saw
his
that.
case, that's literally true, because she's letting that boy his wear dresses and he's wearing kilts.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't have on pants either.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a cop-out.
Mm-hmm.
And other thing, you gonna let an 8-year-old decide that he wants to be a girl? He hadn't even got a good heart on yet. How the hell is he? He doesn't even know what pussy is. So how the hell are you gonna make that determination?
I have no idea.
What do you see? That's what they want. They want some nice tender booty for them to deal with. See, I found out something about pedophiles when I was sentencing them. I'd get them psychologically evaluated. They'd had a guy sitting in the chair with transducers on. They get his blood pressure, everything, and reactions, and they put him on his dick too. So they'd show porn films. These guys get no reaction to looking at men and women, but they'd get rock hard erections looking at simulations of little children getting screwed. That's a sick fuck. You can't do anything about that. But see, they're glorifying that. They are taking stuff and they are looking for recruits. I was a Boy Scout and a Cub Scout master for about 15 years. I bailed when they started doing this thing. I was on a bench. I bailed when they started doing this thing about letting in openly admitted adult leaders. I said, this is not going wrong. Right. And last year, the Boy Scouts in America ended.
Why is that?
They went bankrupt from settling all of these child molestation cases. Then they tried to put in little girls. And I said, the girls have brownies, campfire girls, Girl Scouts. Why do they need Boy Scouts? These emasculated young boys need to get some man up in their system. And you need an adult scout leader to take them to these camps where for a week they're out in the forest someplace. But can you see having some little girls out there with one male scout leader 24/7 for a week? No, that's a disaster.
No, no way. My daughter not going.
No, see, that's a disaster.
Yeah, but that's crazy.
They do something. Speaking of which, For 51 years, they have had a national Take Your Daughter to Work Week.
Mm-hmm.
They've never had one for Take Your Son to Work.
Really?
Now, you want to know how bad it is? The Defense Department did a study back in 2000 to 2010.
Mm-hmm.
They published some white papers. The situation has not changed 10 years later. For the 21st century, on average, only 28% of each year's high school graduates are male. That includes all ethnicities in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Only 34% of the college undergraduates are male. Only 36% of the college graduate students are male. Only 44% of the workforce is male. And although they still have this myth of women getting paid less than men for the same job,
mm-hmm.
they have not published the fact that that has reversed. For 35 and under, the women get paid more for the same jobs than the men do. And, you know, Silicon Valley has had quite a few settlements they have had to pay out because the men were not paid what the women were getting paid for comparable jobs. So
man, that's crazy.
You also have another problem which bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
Survey after survey, there are more boy virgins 25 and under than there are girl virgins 25 and under.
Mm.
Boys ain't getting pussy.
That's why they so mad.
Well, yeah, and then the other thing too is, see, on the LGBT thing, nationally, survey after survey says a little less than 5.6% of the American public LGBT.
Mm-hmm.
That means shit. You got 94% that aren't. For those 55 and older, the percentage, depending upon the survey, ranges from about 1.5% to 2%.
Mm-hmm.
For those 18 to 25, the percentage is 16%, which is probably why, hooked up with why they ain't getting laid
mm-hmm.
by girls anyway. So some guys are getting all the nookie and some ain't getting any.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing that the feminists have set in play that is going to come back and bite them, is this incel shit, where these guys want to take women out because the women won't lay them, and hell, they don't know how to get laid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know,
you're gonna have to make a lot of money. Yeah. So how do you make
money? They can't get it. See,
they still can't get it
now. No, they can't get it. And see, there's this thing now going around. What money got to do with it, man? You sit there, judge bad mouthing my family situation. My woman and I, we got 150,000. I don't make but 30, but she make 120. Well, man, you simping. You ain't pulling down your load, dude. What you doing? You useless. You making 30 grand and your woman making 120. You ain't shit. Well, I'll make her feel good. Fuck that. That's just playing gigolo.
So how do you think the media tie in with what you're saying? How, like, what have you seen in the media that you can make it plain for people to see? Like,
okay, let me give it this. I was on the Oscar and the Emmy board because of what I was doing with this show for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I could vote on the Oscar recipients, make motions and all that shit. So I would get all of these emails, and they had a little funny looking stop sign that was kind of yellow with pale green and pink and stuff on it. And I didn't know what it was because it didn't have anything on it. So I clicked on it. It was LGBTQ site, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were explaining this stuff. And they were talking about how this thing worked. And they were bragging that between 85 and 90% of all people that worked in Hollywood were LGBTQ, etc., practitioners, not just supporters. And they'd list them. And the list is surprising. So what happens is when you go to Hollywood, and I know this from experience, with the exception of the cameraman, maybe the sound people, 9 out of every 10 people you deal with are on the dark side. They go that way. And one of the worst jobs I ever had in my life was working in Hollywood for 15 years. I've never seen such a bunch of male and female, vicious bitches who backstabbed, tried to cut throats, didn't have the nerve to confront you straight up, but would try to destroy you, pull off all kinds of dirty tricks. And I had to watch my 6 day in, day out.
Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing to me now.
Yeah, now
they're hanging on to every word that I say, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna hang on to every word.
No, not just hanging on the word. Actually, doing shit like this. The show gets sued. They intercept service of process, so you don't know about it. So you've gotten a contact by your bank. Would you like to switch over? We can offer you consolidation of these mortgages on a fixed rate of 0.57%. Hell, that's great. Fill out the stuff. FBI comes talking to you. You lied on this federal form. What the fuck do you mean? Mm-hmm. Said, are you now or have you been in the last 5 years subject to any lawsuits? No. And then you find out you've been sued 6 times and the studio is hiding this from you. Mm-hmm. And what they're doing is in open court on the record when you get the transcript saying you're doing something that the California Supreme Court said you'd go to jail if you did. Like, where the hell you get off representing me? I didn't authorize this. See, they do stuff like that. Or you get a call from the attorney general of some state because the studio decided this was cute to affiliate with some legal form company and ask the judge about your case and he'll answer personally. I don't know anything about it, but somebody's purporting to be me, so they're trying to get me for unauthorized practice of law in that state, and plus the advice was wrong anyway. Mm-hmm. So you have to watch stuff like that. Okay. Or here's one. And this goes to this hashtag Me Too nonsense. It's 1998. It's November. The show had just started that fall. It was a hit. So they were having a party at the Beverly Hilton Hotel in L.A. Big party. I'm a bachelor, man. I'm looking at all these fine movie stars and soap opera stars, and they look good, man. You know, I like to dance. I was dancing with them, and then I hooked up with this one chick. We kind of wound up dating. Mm-hmm. So she excused herself to go to the ladies' room. She comes back. She says, do you know that dude over there, the tall guy in the gray suit? I said, yeah. He was the CEO. Name was Larry Little. Big Ticket Television. That's who got me for the first year. All right. Mm-hmm. He said he walked up to me and offered me $2,000 in cash if I would sign something he had written up that you were trying to feel on me. I said, what? So we went around and found all the other women that I had danced with that we could find. And she got statements saying that he had made the approach to her to do the same thing, offering them cash if they would say I was doing something inappropriate. They wouldn't. I guess I made a good impression. I guess I was fine to them back in those days, you know. Ain't what I used to be. Not as good as I used to be, but most of the time I'm better than I ever was. But anyway, that's what I'm talking about. You understand that when you get old. But anyhow, what wound up happening is they were stealing, embezzling money. This clown embezzled $25 million from the show, so he's trying to make it go away. That's like Mel Brooks's The Producers. The theme was, is if the show flopped, you could steal more money than you could make if it was a hit. Mm-hmm. So I hired this woman for PR, paid her $250,000 to go deal with it. She saved it. We saved it by doing our own PR, and we set a trap for her. Mm-hmm. What the trap was is she and I invented a fictional woman. We filled out affidavits, had them notarized in front of a notary, sealed it, took the sealed copy and filed it with Human Resources. Okay. Mm-hmm. We kept doing this as the plot thickened. So the storyline simplified was that she went and talked to this clown's wife and somebody else's wife and told them that this woman was complaining that I was being inappropriate to her. Mm-hmm. Well, I got called over to a meeting with the CEO of then Paramount, a guy named Gary McCluggage, an idiot. And they present me with this complaint signed by this fictional woman. So I started laughing. I had my agent walk outside. So I had them bring the box over from Human Resources, and I brought my PR person in there. And Lord, she was fine. She was Miss Washington, D.C. one time. First runner-up for Miss America. God damn, she was fine. So when they opened this shit up, we started smiling, and they started getting that turned real red, looking like, oh, shit. So they weren't there 6 weeks later, but I was for 13 and a half more years. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's really crazy stuff that they did. I mean, you have no idea how crazy that shit got.
Now you scared me.
I grew up in Los Angeles, so I had all these sources.
Yeah.
So they thought I was ignorant. See, there's one thing about California. It'll open your eyes. Now, in the South, they're used to having slaves and black folk do stuff for them. So they'll acknowledge that you can use your head, or you have skills they don't have. California, I never met a white boy in California who would admit there was anything that he couldn't do better than you, even play basketball or football. Doesn't make any difference. So they would continuously try to underrate what they got. So I would just use my sources, and I'd keep jacking them up. Like, okay, fuck you, I quit. And then get up on that long conference table at Paramount, try to scuff the hell out of it with some cowboy boots, and say, now, motherfuckers, let me take this seat right here. That little cute little girl out there, she's got on a green skirt. You brought her in here, flipped her up, and you all fucked her, and all of you married. But there's some checks I have certified copies of here. Don't ask how I got it. You can think about it. But here, you want to check it? I have copies. And you signed these checks to pay her off. And then, they were stealing Paramount equipment and renting it back to Paramount. They were hooked up with Heidi Fleisch's whole house off of Hollywood Boulevard, and, all kinds of crazy crap. So date rape and paying off pedophile nonsense, So I had it all.
Wow.
Won't tell you how I got it. I'll tell you in person, but I'm not going to say it on the air. But right. Anyway, fuck you. And they had to leave, and I was still there. So Paramount had too many nepotistic situations where somebody was screwing somebody's husband, and they were somebody's husband. Scissoring with somebody's wife, and they were somebody's wife. Oh, and Viacom switched it all over to CBS. Now, They put me in a special unit with Judge Judy, Oprah Winfrey, and Dr. Phil. Roger King, who had discovered Phil and Oprah. Oprah didn't discover Phil, Roger King did. Roger King ran King World, because his daddy invented syndication and set it up. All the old black and white movies and cartoons they used to have on TV back when. Well, you're too young for that, but back in my era, his daddy set that up. Mm-hmm. And he was a football player, big white guy, good guy. And he didn't play that Hollywood shit, but he was so successful that they had to deal with him. So he came to me and said, I don't know what the hell they're trying to do with you. Do you know where you are ratings-wise? I said, I have an idea. He said, do you know, Nielsen informed me that there are more people in this country that watch you on a 10-day basis than any other show on TV outside of pro basketball, football, baseball, or something like that.
Yeah, I know I watch.
Well, yeah. So anyway, what happened is, the last 3 years, I was beating Oprah every week in the ratings, slaughtering Phil, and was stepping on Judy's heels for the #1 syndicated show in America. But what they did is, Judy, little 4'6" munchkin Jewish girl, who liked to badmouth men, they weren't going to let some black man be the #1 TV show. So they kept changing her rating schedule so she'd stay ahead. That being the case, they never let that be known They refused. I mean, it was so bad that in the second largest TV market in America, LA, they didn't even list me in the TV guide. And the biggest question was, are you still on? How do we find you? That's how bad it was. See, it's not just about money. It's about their agenda. Let's take Ellen DeGeneres. All that shit they said about it, that's true. See, and they cancel a show. They've canceled every show she's ever had. But not one of them has ever made it out of one season. Some seasons she's actually had 2 and 3 shows because she's the poster child for lesbianism. She came out and ruined that comedy sitcom she was on when she talked about she was a lesbian. So they reward her. So what happened is WNBC4 in New York at that time was the biggest broadcast TV station in America. So I came on and I was getting 5.8, 6.2s. And Ellen DeGeneres was on after me, and she was getting 0.27, 0.14, 0.56. So it was an embarrassment. So they asked me to come on her show 2 times. Now I walked in there, and this heifer comes up with an attitude, "Where's your robes?" I thought she was supposed to be a comedian, you know. I said, "Well, I got it. Put it on." I said, "It's 80 degrees up in here." And I said, "I'm not putting this shit on. It's mine." I said, "Well, I don't want to be here, fool. They asked me to come." So I'm starting to cop an attitude, but still trying to be a gentleman. So it's 80 damn degrees in there.
Catch your nose.
And one of my cameramen.
Catch your nose. Yeah.
So I saw one of my cameramen. I said, "What the hell's going on?" And he said, "Judge, this woman likes it 80 degrees, man. We sweat like pigs up in here. It's hot. She's bad-mouthing everybody." So a couple of sisters had come over with, well, not sisters, a couple of women had come over from my show. She's up there looking down there, bro. "Baby, when you gonna let the girls come out?" What the hell is this shit? She talked about everybody like dogs. She was nasty. She tried to get in my face. "Didn't I tell you to put that robe on?" I said, "It's 80 degrees. You tell me when I come out here." So he come out. So I put it on and then sat around and said, "Did I tell you?" I said, "You go to hell." I said, "You witch." So I said, "Guys, let's go. Let's get the fuck out of here. I'm gone." "Judge, come back, come back." So they had called all the way from, "Judge, please bear with it. We need you." Yeah. So I bore with him and I said, "You a miserable ass heifer." And the first time she ever broke 1.0 was the 2 times I was on her show the next 2 days, but the ratings dropped right back to 0, nothing, and they canceled the show. But 4 weeks after that, they gave her another. Now, I used to live in a place called Ojai, California. I had a ranch about 75 miles outside of LA. Now, I had a beautiful movie star quality wife, ex-wife now, who was very talented. And Ellen and her wife tried to hit on my wife to set up a lesbian threesome. My wife told them what they could do with themselves. But, you know, that's the way they roll. So they reward Ellen DeGeneres and they try to make her a superstar, but this chick has never been able to keep a show for a whole season. But they called her a star. But Judge Joe Brown, they tried to act like nobody'd heard of me. So the ratings went down. They say, yeah, everybody's did because they had new media coming up. So Judy's went down, Oprah's went down, Phil's went down, but I was still beating Phil, still beating Oprah, and stepping on Judy's heels. So they come up with me asking me to take an IOU for $28 million from CBS, talking about everybody's taking a hit. And I say, you lying dogs, because I bought some shares of stock in CBS, which I've sold since. But the bottom line is that when you get these shares of stock, you get the stockholders newsletter. And if you ever get to working with a company, do that so you can see what's going on. So they're saying I'm the most profitable operation CBS has through its syndication department in all of CBS because I had such massive ratings, and the type of people that wanted to advertise on my show sold Maybachs, Mercedes, BMWs, and stuff like that, Cadillacs, Lincolns, and so forth. So there was a lot of revenue coming in. And I had very little overhead, and the way I did it streamlined the production process. So they're bragging about it, and they said everybody, they designated who everybody was who got a raise. So I'm looking at these fools thinking about everybody got a hit, and they're lying to me. I said, you're lying dog. I said, this is what you got. They just give you a raise January 17th. This is what you got.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how'd you know that? I should have found it out. Plus, you're also doing something that FTC, Federal Trade Commission, would have your ass doing 10 years in jail for insider trading. You've been manipulating this stock. It's like announcing that the dividend is going to drop from 27 cents down to a nickel. So the stock price, this actually happened, dropped from $68 a share down to $32 a share. These executives had a plan with CBS so they would loan them the money that could be paid back within 6 months interest free.
Mm-hmm.
So they bought up all of the stock that they could. CBS bought up $280-some million of its own stock at $32 a share, which, as per the intention, had dropped from 68 to 32 because of the announcement the dividend would be cut to a nickel. Well, as soon as they bought this huge load of stock, it jumped up to $64 a share, and everybody dumped their shares. So they got the equivalent of all of this stock for free that they converted to cash. So that was a hustle. That could get you 10 years in the federal penitentiary. And one of them even admitted it to me. So I was holding that over him. So I just said, that's 15 years. I'm tired of this shit. You know, I'm retired. I can even collect full Social Security. Fuck you. I'm out of here. I quit. So that's
you don't play no games. You don't play no games, do you?
No, I mean, they did like shit they do. They wanted to impress me, and they forgot I went to UCLA law school.
Okay.
And I grew up in Los Angeles, so they wanted to impress me by introducing me to all of these LA Superior Court judges. They had 14 of them there, and 9 of them I had recruited to law school. So they already knew me, and they didn't realize that they knew me. And I'd like you to meet Judge so-and-so. Joe, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you in years, man. Thank you for what you... Okay. And then they had one fine one. Oh, Lord, she was fine. Is fine. She was chief administrative law judge for LA County Superior Court. And I'd like you to meet Judge so-and-so, chief administrative judge for LA County Superior Court. She started grinning through her arms around me, kissed me on the lips, you know. It's so good. And I said, you see what they're doing? She said, this is obnoxious, trying to act like... She said, should I tell them how I know you? So she did. Oh, my God. Would make the hashtag Me Too folk go freak, you know. But she said, he's why I am where I am right now. He said he was going to spank me if I didn't go to law school, and I told him I wouldn't. He pulled up my little mini skirt, popped me on my bare ass until I decided. I said, I'll go. So, oh, my God.
Allegedly.
Oh, it felt so good. I almost came. All right, wow. You know, so they got real proof. See, shit happened in the real world. See, you guys don't have it the way we used to. Right. 1960s, they had invented birth control pill. Nobody was getting knocked up. Everybody was taking the pill, and they had the sexual revolution. I mean, you could walk into a fast food place and, hey, do you want dessert? They would run this spiel down. Yeah, but it's not up. Oh, you mean me? Yeah. Well, you have a car? Yeah, that's what I got. You got a big back seat? Well, I'll be off in 17 minutes for my break. You want to hook me up? So we go out and have sex, come back. You couldn't catch anything, but the shot of penicillin wouldn't clear the symptoms up within 1 hour, you know, and you cured in a week. So we got a lot of pussy. You know, somebody, I was sitting at a table about 3 years ago with some boys. We were listening to young ladies that was bragging about he had laid 6 women. And we were laughing. So what was so funny, old brother? So we used to fuck that many women in 1 week, man. Damn. Yeah, but 6? Damn, man. You're deprived, brother. Damn.
Hey.
And Will Chamberlain wrote this book. He said he had 10,000 women plus he had slept with. He wasn't lying. You could do that.
Wow.
Yes. I mean, everybody I know had hundreds of women. Wow. It wasn't 10, 15, 20. I mean, you can't even remember them. I remember one woman slapped the shit out of me. I was talking to her. She said, "Fool, you already fucked me 3 or 4 times. You forgot." I'm sorry, baby. Maybe I was wasted or something, you know. Damn, you changed your hair. Damn, I'm sorry. You said, "But you can do it again." Okay, I'm gonna get that.
I didn't know you was a comedian and a judge.
Fun, man.
Yeah. Well, now you scared. I'm scared that you. Everybody's scared to really approach a girl because everything is so sensitive now. You don't know what to say. You're scared to buy them a drink. It's almost like you gotta let them do all the work.
See, I go out with ladies from say 35 on up to 70. That's my age range. The older you get, the broader your range is. 135 till they get 40, they really don't have good sense. Mm-hmm. Now, I got one woman who's 62 years old, been a long-term friend. She said, "Joe, look at here. I've been working out, still work out, and I'm in my 60s. Look, better than a whole lot of sisters." She said, "Get my hair done, take care of my complexion, watch what I eat, tastefully get my nails done, learn how to talk. And these stupid lesbian bitches got all these men I'm trying to catch afraid to say something."
Oh, that's what a woman said?
That's what a woman said.
Oh, wow.
Said, "What the hell is this?" See, just like I don't particularly like Charlemagne and some of these charlatans, and you don't like some of your colleagues that are going the unmanly way.
Yeah, go get into it. What you think about Charlemagne? What you think about him? Get into that. I know people waiting to hear Charlemagne and Stephen A. Smith.
Punk ass with a punk name.
What about Stephen A. Smith? You ever heard of him? Well, me and him got into it because to me, he puts a little disrespect on guys' names. He tried to make it singular about me and him. But as I try to get people to wake up and see, it's not about just me and him. He said something like, allegedly, I wouldn't trade Andrew Wiggins for a box of cereal. And to me, that just goes too far. What if Andrew Wiggins was trying to, go out and get some money off the court? And people listen to Stevie A. He got a big platform, and you've devalued this man's value like that by saying he's not worth a box of cereal. To me, that that goes beyond basketball when you're starting to dox people like that.
Yeah, hundreds.
Yeah, that's what they do. When they get a man that's a man, they try to down him. And if you badmouth somebody often enough, you get people adopting what they hear, so you get a negative impression. So what the deal is take the exemplars who behave like they're supposed to, and you get the people turned against that by telling lies, mistruths, exaggerations, and so forth, and they no longer listen to that individual, but they listen to the idiots. That's what that's about. I want you to do something too. Your message needs to get out. I want to invite you to my show, which is later today. I know you won't be able to do it today, but next week, and I'll give you the call-in number.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay, I'll give it to you. I'll text it to you. And there's another somebody that's one of your big fans, Dana Cumberland.
Said I quit.
Okay.
She's an intelligent woman. She's a grandmother, though she doesn't look like it. Kind of hot. She fusses a lot, but it's a good way to learn how to deal with her. She treats me cool, but she treats the guys at half step. She puts them in place, and act like a man up. She's all for that. And you need to deal with her. I'll give you her number.
Okay.
And there are a few other people, and there's another brother that I call our investigative reporter. He does it for everybody, and you ought to deal with him too. He's got a show, but he travels all over the country, getting to the bottom of the stuff. That's Bernard Johnson. So you need to deal with him. And then there's a good sister you need to talk to. Her name is Dr. Cheyenne Bryant out of Los Angeles, and this is one of the most intelligent humans I have ever run into. Interestingly enough, these women are deeper into man up as a necessity for men than a whole lot of brothers are doing. Dr. Johnson has one of the top 10 best-selling books on Amazon, which is good. She's a clinical psychologist. She's one of these super people. She, God damn that woman. Man, movie star quality. And she got her bachelor's degree before she hit 20, got her master's before she got 21, and then got her PhD. And this is one of those super people that ought to be where Kamala Harris is, but she's a decent person. Now, she's a rare breed. She actually is president of an NAACP chapter, but she makes it
Yeah, I watched them do that part.
something else. So like when this thing that became Black Lives Matter first started before it got corrupted into Black lesbian mania,